When making any crochet project, you will be either working in rows, like this top one, or working in the round. With rows, you always work with the right side facing you, and then you get to the end of your row, turn over, and then work your way back. And with working in the round, you always work with the right side facing up all the time, and you just keep on adding the rounds as you go. Even when you're making a simple project like a little granny square, this is still working in the round at the beginning, and then you build up your square with the pattern. So I'm going to show you how to join your work in the round, and also to work a really important stitch, the slip stitch. At the beginning of your pattern, it will often say make a certain number of chains. So here I've made a chain of 6, and then join with a slip stitch in first chain to form a ring. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So there's our 6th chain. I've got this facing the right side, and I can clearly see those V's, and I can just smooth that down with my thumb so I can clearly see the chains I've made. And I'm going to take the top of my hook and go right into the very first chain I made, right down by the slip knot, into the middle of that V. I'm then going to catch the yarn on, so as we've done many times, you can see the yarn going over. I'm now going to pull that through that first chain and bring it back up, and you can now see there's 2 loops on my hook. Now with my hook, I just keep on going through that first loop, so I'm left with 1 on my hook, and then you can see that chain has now been made into a ring, and now I'd be ready to carry on with my pattern in the round. So that is the slip stitch, a really useful stitch to be able to do. You can also use the slip stitch when you are working in rows, and it's often used at the end of a pattern to create a nice firm edge. So I'll just show you again how to do it if you're working in rows. So I'm going into the next stitch, and then I'm going to yarn on, pull that through that stitch, and there's my 2 loops on my hook. So I'm now going to pull the hook through that very first loop, and I'm left with 1 on my hook. So that's a slip stitch again. I'll do that again, into the next stitch, right through, so I've gone right through both V's, bring the yarn on, 2 loops on my hook, bring the hook through, and I'm left with 1. So this is again a useful stitch to do as an edging, and it creates a very firm, neat edging to finish off your work. And that's the slip stitch.